Hi, this is Edip, February 13, 2020. I would like to talk about 3 hadiths. If you are a Sunni or Shiite, you know what does hadith means. When you ask the Sunnis or Shiites or their scholars, they will talk about the sources of Islam as Quran. Well, it is not enough, they claim. Therefore, they supplement it with hadiths. Here say narrations that has been compiled, written centuries after Muhammad, thousands of them, contradictory, and arbitrarily picked by this or that imam. And Sunnah they call supposedly the deeds of Muhammad, what they narrate centuries after Muhammad in Sirah books, supposedly the story of Muhammad. And also Ijma, the consensus of scholars. Therefore, not much different than Catholics. If you tell Catholics or Protestants that Trinity is fake, it has nothing to do with Jesus, it is made up 325 years after Jesus in Nicene Conference, the word Trinity even doesn't exist in the Bible, it contradicts the logic, reason, it's stupid, worshipping murder weapon doesn't make sense, drinking wine, pretending then that it is the blood of your Savior, or eating cookie in church, that it is the flesh of your Savior, pretentious cannibalism, doesn't make sense, silly, stupid, walking these ostentatious, silly clothes, has nothing to do with Jesus, with the message of Jesus. If Jesus came today, would reject you, and you would reject him as anti-Christ. Yeah. Sunni and Shiite people, they know this. They laugh at Christians. They write books about it, they talk about it, how nonsense. But they don't see the nonsense in their religion that has been added centuries later by their scholars. Catholics have their own saints, idolized people, fossils, dinosaurs of the past. The same with Sunnis, the same with Shiites, with every religion. They have their idols, the name of some Hazrat or saint. And when something attributed to them, they don't care whether it's true or not. Therefore, here are the 3 hadiths. Anyway, for those who do not know, I have translated the Quran in 2 languages. This is the English one, Quran, a Reformist translation. It is available in PDF and free on online, but it costs to print this. I don't make money. I don't get royalty from my books. Therefore, if it is PDF, you will see it free or online free. And this is Manifesto for Islamic Reform. This is a thin book. You should read it. It's also available at 19.org. But here, I would like to make it very simple for you guys. I'm not going to talk about hadith that Bukhari saw monkeys stoning someone to death. They are, because that death monkey committed adultery. He's basically saying, here is a good example for you monkeys. No wonder the Quran says, we told them they became like monkeys and pigs. They do. They even find an example in monkey, of course, by making up, even fabricating lies against monkeys. Poor monkeys, they never do the regime, stone people to death or stone monkeys to death. But they made up so many lies just recently that according to hadith in Tirmizi, you can eat hyenas. That's good. Well, you eat it, but why contradicting with your other stories that are full of contradictions? Now, and a lot of misogynistic hadiths, and the hadith that insults Muhammad, turned into like a pedophile. Supposedly he was 54 years old, married Aisha when Aisha was 6, but went to bed This is insult to him, of course, while she was 9 years old. This is according to these lies. Well, according to the same lies, Muhammad had the sexual power of, miraculous power of 30 men. Supposedly they are praising him. They turn him into a pervert, a sexual maniac. Supposedly Sahaba, one of his high, great, holy friend, he says, I saw Prophet Muhammad made sex with his 9 wives in one night. This guy is sexual maniac. That means following. I don't know how he saw him through his home. He saw 9 wives, different rooms. The whole night he is peeking through. Anyway, these are incredible, stupid hadiths. No, it really, if you follow hadith, you lose your mind. You turn to a stupid person when it comes to religion stuff, and therefore you see schizophrenic personality develops. In normal life, they have to become scientists and act accordingly, but in their society, governments and stuff, everything turns topsy down, and very, very backward societies. No wonder 57 countries, you don't see even kind of a little indication of intelligence life. In general, I'm talking, unfortunately. Corrupt leaders, despots, misogyny, oppression, lies, censorship in all these countries. On 3-4 continents, look at this, and 57 countries, different ethnicities, and different languages, different cultures, but, well, different cultures may be wrong because it's all influenced by Sunni or Shiite culture, polytheistic culture, very backward. Therefore, they're all condemned to backwardness, oppression, and suppression. Now, the 3 hadiths I want to focus on, I want to cut it short, it's 7 minutes already gone. One is the most authentic hadith, the most popular hadith, and the most lost hadith, the lost and the most prestigious hadith. Interesting, all these 3 most hadiths contradict all the rest of the hadiths, which volumes of books. Sunnis have 6 hadith books. They call them Kutub al-Sitta, and they are what? Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmizi, Ibn Majah. Anyway, it goes about 6, Abu Dawud. Ibn Hanbal, I think it's Musnad, may not be, but Hanbalis follow Ibn Hanbal. And 6-7 books. There's Muwatta also, Ibn Malik. Anyway, and all Shiite people also, they have their own hadith books. And they, Sunnis, they categorize hadith according to their authenticity into 31 categories. 31 categories of lies. Imagine, shades of lies. They're picking basically, supposedly, protein, healthy food from the garbage site. And according to Bukhari, more than 98% of it was garbage, even before he collected his own garbage from garbage. He says he collected 600,000 hadiths, and he ended up with 7,000, about 200 some hadiths. 7,215 or 25, I forgot that fraction. Imagine, according to his own confession, which is a big lie, because when you calculate, it's impossible for a person to collect so many hadiths. If hadith from with sanad and matan means with the list of narrators, which they are long names, Ibn Abu Falan, Abi Falan, Ummu, long name. This is just not first name and last name. They all have long names about father, mother, uncle, and tribe's name, the place of birth, all these long names. And mostly you will be Ibn and Abu in it, rarely Ummu or Bintu. But these Ibn Filan and Abu Falan, the list is long list, and the Matan and in the metin there will be sallallahu alaihi wasallam fake stuff entered. Therefore, at least have a page, especially if it is written in old times on leather and stuff with big ink. It was not very efficient. They didn't have ballpoint like thin pens. Therefore, when they write it, it will be, assume, just let's be generous, 2 hadiths, 1 page, 600,000 hadiths, it will be 300,000 pages, 300 page book, imagine, 1,000 book, imagine, 10 books, 100 books, it will be 10, and another one, how many of them? 1,000 volumes of books, 300 page each, and has so many names in them. And he sorts through them, he finds the truth. This is what they believe. And Bukhari came 230 years after Prophet Muhammad, by the way. It was not collected during his time, not even during 4 Khulafai Rashidin, they call 4 caliphs. Not even after them. A guy comes from Bukhara. These are all liars. St. Paul's of Islam. They are the enemy of Muhammad. They are the enemy of the message. They were ignorant polytheists. Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmizi. This hadith guy or Shafi'i, which is another guy. But Hanifa, Abu Hanif, who is supposedly the founder of Hanafite, if you critically study, you will find out he was a decent guy, he was a monotheist, he was against hadith. Therefore, he was accused and he was tortured. He was imprisoned while he was alive during Umayyad and Abbasid times, and finally they kill him in prison. But later on, in his name, through so-called students, they make up a sect. But from those early discussions about Shafi'i's book, when you look at it, he wrote it against Abu Hanif. His book defending hadith. They call him Ahli Ray. Therefore, Bukhari never narrates one single hadith from Abu Hanif, who is tabi'in, who is just after he saw the friends of Muhammad. They are exalted in Sunni religion. They worship Muhammad and they worship his old friends and also friends of friends. They call it Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Lord of the universe, they call him, like the Christians, they do to Jesus, they're exactly the same. And then they say, Sahaba, all of them are idols. If anything attributed to Sahaba, that's it. You have to accept it. They are all divine beings, sacred, holy. And then also Tabi'in. But Bukhari never narrates a hadith from Abu Hanif. Why? Because in the beginning there were big contentions that the hadith people, fabricators, liars, they wanted to change the message, progressive message of the Quran. Therefore, they wanted to make up. Therefore, they attacked those people. They called them enemy of Muhammad. And you don't like Muhammad enough, like Christians, they like Jesus. Do you think they like Jesus? Today's Christians, they are the enemy of Jesus. They distorted the message, monotheistic message of Jesus. Neyse is a Turkish word, I'm sorry. Neyse, leave alone that. Now, come back to this hadith, the most authentic hadith. Finally warming up, coming to real issue. Do not narrate anything from me, do not write anything from me besides the Quran. Whoever has written anything besides the Quran from me should delete it. فَلَا تَكْتُبُ. I even remember this one while I was in parochial school, in middle school. I still remember, imagine. Because I was raised in a Sunni family, is in a Sunni school. My father was top Sunni scholar in Turkey. Write down my name and you will find his name. They talk about him. He was top Sunni scholar. All the Sunni groups and orders and all factions, all whatever they are, mazahibs, they were all revering him. But I remember this one. فلا تكتب عني سوى القرآن فمن كتبه فليمحه. This is hadith. Says, do not write anything from me besides the Quran. Whoever has written should delete it. And this, not according to me, pay attention, According to the very hadith scholars, Sunni hadith scholars, this is the most authentic hadith. Why? Because they call it mutawatir. This is the most mutawatir hadith. Means in the narrator chain, the first narrators who saw Muhammad saying this, their number are so many that you cannot doubt from it. It has many more narrators. Most of the hadith, 99% of hadith ahadi, means supposedly only one Sahaba hears Prophet Muhammad say that. Sometimes it is the center of their religion. Just one Sahaba hears it. And then they make a rule about it. They can even kill people because of that. Well, I may be exaggerating, but they do, in fact, sometimes even without hadith, their alims make up something. Ijma, they call it. Anyway, but that is the most mutawatir hadith, says, do not write any hadith from me. Throw it. Delete it. What they do? No, holy, next to the Quran. Volumes of hadith books. Hello? What is this? Look at your own, the most authentic hadith say, throw all of this together to the trash. But they don't. Because their religion is satanic contradiction. Satan is the king of contradictions. Well, Satan comes with this explanation. These are human Satans. They have turbans on their head, they have big beards, they act like as if they are holy men, they know everything. They are the most ignorant people on earth and the most arrogant people, not only ignorant, arrogant, because they attribute the most stupid lies to God and to God's messenger. Well, they say there was a hadith, a hadith, said Prophet Muhammad says, well, I used to adjoining you, telling you not to write anything from me, but now you can write. Aha. They basically, the most authentic hadith became the victim of an ahadi hadith. That was so easy. You may have the most authentic hadith, someone can fabricate one single hadith. It was in the past, they call it nasikh mansukh. Now, you can do. They, in fact, reject many verses of the Quran based on contradiction. They said there is contradiction in the Quran. Well, if you ask them, they said there is no contradiction. But in this statement also, they contradict themselves. They contradict in contradiction. They say, well, there is nasikh mansukh. There are two verses contradict each other. One of them delete the other. Abrogation, they call it. Nasikh mansukh. Hello? What is this? Contradiction inside contradiction. I cannot believe it. This is the most authentic hadith. And it is gone. The most popular hadith is hadith Hujjatul Wada. Hajj means debate. In fact, the meaning of it is absolutely lost. Like Islam means peacemaking, the meaning is lost to them. They don't even know it means peacemaking. Salam, peace. In many words, lost its meaning. Salat means solidarity, being in contact, being in touch with. To turn faith. وما صدق وما صلى ولكن كذب وتولى. That verse explains salat. فما صدق وما صلى. He didn't approve, accept as the truth, confirm, neither وما صدق وما صلى, neither did salah, keep it that way, we don't know X, did the X. ولكن كذب وتولى, but he denied, rejected, denied, وتولى, and turned face, turned away. We know صدق, كذب, they are the antonym each other, to approve, to confirm, to accept. كذب, to deny, to reject. And صلى, X, its antonym is to turn away. Therefore, salat is turn face to, show empathy, basically in person, as a mu'min, we do salah with God, we go in touch, contact with God, we ask help from God, we give promise that we'll help God's system, which is peace, justice, and freedom. And also in society, when we have congregation salat, means solidarity with the community, psychological, political, economic, social solidarity, discussion the issues in the neighborhood and find solutions and solve the solutions all together. This is salat of Jumu'ah, means congregational solidarity. It is a civic duty. It is secular. But the salat with God, it is between believer, mu'min. The word believer even, it is wrong translation. It is the one who acknowledges the truth, who trusts God. Amina, iman, emniyat means to trust God based on evidence, not conjecture. Anyway, salat in Hajjatul Wada means debate. Abraham did Hajj with people. Hajj Ibrahim. Abraham debated. It is debate, discussion. It is a debate congregation, conference where people around the world once a year come together. They discuss the issues, political and economical, social, any issues related to the world, to themselves, or war, peace, those issues. Hajj al-Akbar means the bigger Hajj, biggest Hajj means annual Hajj. We'll have a neighborhood Hajj. We could have periodicals, monthly Hajj, monthly discussions, debates, but also once a year, which is big Hajj, we come together. In that big Hajj, Muhammad had once to have it because there were wars, they were trying to kill him. 3 times mushriks, they attacked Medina. All the wars during Muhammad times were defense, self-defense, and the Quran doesn't allow aggression. There is no going to countries, conquering the countries. It's absolutely, it is based on hadith and distortion of the verses of the Quran. This is a different translation because it is based on the Quran, based on reason. The other translation distorts verses of the Quran based on hadith and sunnah and stuff. By the way, in parentheses, the word hadith in the Quran, whenever it is mentioned, it is used other than the Quran, it is in negative. وَمَا كَانَ حَدِيثًا يُفْتَرَى, it is not a fabricated hadith, for example. فَبِأَيِّ حَدِيثٍ بَعْدَ اللَّهِ وَآيَاتِهِ يُؤْمِنُونَ. Which hadith, which narration, which hearsay they believe, which words they believe besides God and His verses, after God and His signs. The word hadith. The word sunnah always in the Quran is sunnatullah, sunnatullah, God's law, God's law. God's law in society, in nature. Never sunnah to Muhammad is never mentioned in the Quran. These are not coincidences. The word even ijma is when it's used in connection with God, in Summayna alayna jam'ahu wa Qur'ana, for example. Quran is the editor of the Quran, is gatherer, or in the day of judgment gathers us, the word jama'. But when jama'u amrahum, when it's used for other humans, it's always is negative. The word ijma. When humans do ijma, the Quran usually there is implication because the Quran is word of God. It is prophetic. It's usage of the language. God knew in the future that the fabricators, the enemies of Muhammad, the enemies of the message of monotheism, they will try to distort. They will try to resurrect their religion of ignorance, their tribalism, Arab nationalism through the Quran, through hadith. And then through hadith they distorted. Therefore, if you look at the translation of Yusuf Ali and stuff, you will see major distortion. In the beginning, I have showcased 15 examples. If you see here, I show it, but please go find it. And I compare 3 other translations with my translation, but many distortions. The third one, in Hajjatul Wada, Muhammad, this is supposedly 100,000 Sahaba, let's say 10,000. A hadith that heard most by his people, and it is towards his last days, last years in the world. And according to that hadith, Hajjatul Wada, or last sermon, and the last words of the last sermon, the most important is 3 versions. One is says, I leave you Quran, follow the Quran, you will be guided. This is the most repeated, most narrated version. The second version, I leave you the Quran and Sunnah. Quran and Sunnah. And the other, I leave you Quran and Ahl Bayt, means my family, which means Ali. You don't need to be too smart, a smart detective. Just a normal, well, if you are smart, that's good. It's not, it's not bad. But you don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand what happened. Obviously, the authentic one was, I leave you Quran, follow the Quran, which is according to the Quran. According to the Quran, the only complaint of the Prophet Messenger will be in the Day of Judgment, chapter 25, verse 30, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. The messenger will say, my people have deserted the Quran. Not Quran plus hadith, not Quran plus hadith plus sunnah, plus fiqh, plus this mazahib. No, 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 no. They are later additions, distortions. In fact, shirk. Again, you see the last statement of the last sermon, which is according to themselves, not us, which makes sense if it was the last sermon or it was during Hajj time. Of course, many people listened. And according to them, 80,000 or 100,000, let's say 10,000 listened. How in the world, how can I trust these people? How can I trust these people? So many people listen, and they mess up the most important words and contradictory stuff. But if you think, aha, the original was the Quran, but Sunnis added Sunnah, and Alawites or Shiite, they added Ali. Well, they say Ahl Bayt goes to Ali and Hassan and Hussein. Okay. The first hadith was what? The most authentic hadith. Do not write anything from me besides the Quran. Whoever has written should delete it. They destroy this or their own hadith. They don't follow it because they follow many hadiths. Because of one ahadi hadith, they abrogate this. They, according to them, the most authentic hadith, the most repeated narrators. And this one, the most popular hadith or the most heard hadith, and you see this one comes in three versions. They mess up the most important words there. And third, the last hadith. Prophet Muhammad in his deathbed, according to their own book, says, bring me a paper and a pen, I will write something for you so that you will not be misguided after me. And according to the hadith, in his presence, all the big Sahabas, Abu Bakr, Umar, and others. And basically, I call it also the latest and the most prestigious hadith. Because it's not just any Huzaifa bin Yamama or Abu Huraira, any guy. These are the closest friend and later who became caliphs. They are there. Very important. And what he says, bring me a paper and pen, I will write something to you. First of all, they contradict with their claim, ijma, that Prophet Muhammad was not able to read and write, illiterate, which they distort the meaning of ummi. Ummi means Gentile. It is always contrasted with people of the book, Gentile and people of the book. The Meccan people were Gentile. Not necessarily they were all illiterate, but they were all Gentile. Gentile means a person who doesn't follow a particular religious book, like Old Testament, New Testament. Muhammad was Gentile, but he was literate. There are many verses indicating, in fact, proving that he was literate, that he was writing. There are verses, Bi'idi Safara, like that, but I prove it by dictating someone two verses. I can prove 100% that he was literate. I did it by test. For example, Turkish author Ali Bulac debated against me. He was Sunni. Oh no, he is illiterate and stuff. Ummi means illiterate. No. I said, sit down, write down these two verses. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Very also relevant meaning-wise. Read in the name of your Lord who created. He wrote it down. He knew Arabic. And then I said, look at it. Look at Bismillah Rahman, the first B, Seme, and look the second Bismi, Iqra Bismi. You wrote the same, correct? If Prophet Muhammad dictated, the writer, the scribe, would write exactly like you did, because it means the same, it sounds the same. Bismi, Bismi. And they would write the same, but not. Look at the Quran. It is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It is without Alif. But Iqra Bismi in the name, that one has Alif. The writing is different. One with three letters, the other in 4 letters. And also according to mathematical structure of the Quran, it is meaningful, it is perfect, precision. It's proof. Many others like this. Anyway, according to hadith, he says, bring this paper and pen, I will tell you something so that, I will write something so that you will not be diverted after me. And someone rushes to bring paper and pen, one of the Sahabas. Umar bin Khattab says, nope, stop. He's sick, he doesn't know what he's saying. He has fever. The words, if I remember, قَدْ غَلَبَهُ الْعَجَلِ. I'm not sure exact words. Long time, I remember, long time ago. But he says, حَسْبُنَا كِتَابُ اللَّهِ. God's book is enough, sufficient for us, and rejects. And then the Sahaba gives up. The other Sahaba means friends. They were not like this. They imagine, they think they were in front of Muhammad, they were like this, worshipping him. No, they were like his friends. Friends. Talking to him, laughing together with Muhammad, criticizing him if it is something wrong, asking him questions, caring about him. Muhammad cared about them. In their mind, they were stupid people just following blindly. No. They were smart people questioning. They were rational monotheists. They questioned their parents. They questioned their religion. لا تقف ما ليس لك به علم. إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا. They were thinking people, questioning, critical thinker. They then became worshippers of another human being. They were free. They followed the truth together with Muhammad. Muhammad was one of them, a human being like them. قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ. He didn't pretend he's their Lord and stuff. But now they worship even their sheikh. If Muhammad comes, the sheikh worship the other sheikh and stuff. Oh, Muhammad is top, is God in their mind. In fact, if they see Muhammad today, of course, if they hear Muhammad today, if came, they would stone him to death as a heretic, as they do to me. They want to kill me. They call me murtad. Several times they try to assassinate me. They killed my friend, my mentor, Dr. Rashad Khalifa, in his mosque. They stabbed him to death. Therefore, they would, but before Muhammad speaking, if they see someone, they believe Muhammad, they would worship him. But Muhammad did not come, or Jesus, to ask people to worship them, just the other way around. They asked people not to submit themselves to any other human being, not to be slaves. Mentally be open, only search for truth, because God's net attribute is truth. Know the truth so that truth will set you free. God is justice, search the justice. Muhammad or Jesus, they were just delivering the message. They were changing themselves. They were reforming themselves. They were initially in wrong path. They were confused. They were searching for truth. God helped them. But Jesus, I think, was different than Muhammad. Muhammad, according to the Quran, and Jesus, but some messengers like Muhammad, initially they were in wrong path. The Quran says, وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالَّ فَهَدَى. God found you diverted, lost, and guided you. In another verse says, مَا كُنْتَ تَدْرِي مَا الْكِتَابُ وَمَا الْإِيمَانُ, or مَا الْكِتَابُ وَالْإِيمَانُ. You didn't know what is kitab, what is the book, what is iman. وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ هَدَاكَ. God guided you. Muhammad was on a wrong path, on his parents' parents' religion, because there is another verse says God, I don't know exactly the word I don't remember. I'm tired at the end of the day. I am forbidden. The word forbidden is used. I am forbidden to worship anyone, to not worship, to serve anyone other than God. Anyone, serve anyone. The word worship, in fact, has wrong connotation, as if doing stupid rituals. No. If you are searching the truth, studying, you are serving God. If you are standing for justice, for against inequality, you speak out, you are serving God. You are doing the ibadah. If you are standing for peace against warmongers, you fight against bloody warmongers. You say, nope, I don't want my tax money spent on military industrial complex. You serve God, the creator of the universe, whose name is peace, salam, whose name is ilm, alim, hakim. Anyway, and then he stops them. He says, Hasbuna kitabullah, God's book is enough, sufficient for us. In summary, the three most important hadiths among all these hadiths, the most mutawatir hadiths, they don't follow. We said, don't write anything from me besides the Quran. If you have written, you should delete it. They don't follow that one. They ate it. You know, they made up a verse regarding stoning to death. Later they couldn't insert to the Quran, and they say, well, it was written on a leather, it was under Aisha's bed, a hungry goat and ate it. This is their hadith book. They believe in this. You see, smart person, an engineer Sunni, ask him. If he doesn't know, he has no clue about his religion. But it is in his holy book, Sharif books, this holy hungry goat. And after Prophet Muhammad's life, supposedly it was in the Quran a verse, and the goat ate it, and then it is abrogated from the Quran. And this is a stupid story. Yes, thank God, a goat ate it. We are saved from being stoned to death. Nope. Its judgment remains. Textually it is out, but as a judgment is there. Anyway. And the second hadith was what? The most heard hadith, the most popular hadith in Hijjat al-Wada, last sermon. The last words of the last sermon comes in 3 versions. Contradictory, but it gives a lot of clues regarding the mindset, the intention of those people who fabricated the other 2 versions. One version is, I leave you the Quran, follow the Quran, you will be guided. The other, I leave you Quran and Sunnati. Sunnah means all lies, seerah attributed to Muhammad. They depict Muhammad a contradictory, stupid person, ignorant, illiterate, sexual maniac, pervert, and torturer. At the same time, the great example with great mercy and stuff, contradictory, schizophrenic personality. You can pick and choose any character you want. It is from hadith books, from seerah books. You can pick and choose any combination of Muhammad you want. Any. A thief, a murderer, someone who put a woman on 2 horses and basically tears her down and kill her by tearing her into 2 pieces. According to hadith. What is the crime of that woman? Criticizing Muhammad. This is the biggest insult to a monotheist who came to this world to promote peace, respect lives. If someone kills a human being as if killed all the humans. You cannot kill any human except for self-defense. These are verses of the Quran. But their Muhammad is the enemy of the Quran, is ignorant, is a polytheist. Anyway, and the third hadith was the last hadith. His bed, he says, I will write something from you, but all the Sahaba, they reject. They say, this doesn't make sense. He's sick, he doesn't know what he's saying because the Quran is enough for us. Hello? When I say Quran is sufficient for us, as the Quran says, Hasbuna kitabullah, when I say in Arabic means Hasbuna kitabullah, well, the same word was uttered by your idol, Umar bin Khattab, the second caliph. And then according to you, he should be also a murtad. Why you don't say that? Anyway, it's too long. Take care. Peace. And this.